Howdy and welcome to Friday Serving of Daily Bread. This week our bread was on being humbled and exalted. God ordains that humility will precede exaltation. Now today we'll go over wrestling with the Lord. And our scripture reading is Genesis 32:24 through 26. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." The end of Genesis 32 contains a powerful description of Jacob's wrestling match with the Lord. Now, wrestling is a very demanding activity. It strains and stretches and pulls and tears like few other sports. However, this was not a high school wrestling match. This was a power encounter, literally, with the Almighty. It is interesting to observe that Jacob was left alone. He had planned, prayed, and followed through. Now he found himself isolated. Many people do not like solitude and quietness. As soon as we get into the car or come into the house, we turn on the radio or television because we are uncomfortable with silence. In the stillness, God speaks the clearest, and many people, even believers, are uncomfortable with that notion. When Jacob was alone, a man wrestled with him. Who was this mysterious opponent? It was none other than God, according to Hosea 12:4 and 5. Now the Lord could have easily overpowered Jacob as they grappled that night, but he chose to meet Jacob on his terms. That was an act of mercy on God's part. When God saw that he prevailed not against Jacob, he touched his hip and dislocated it. That was a very painful experience. Yet for all his pain, Jacob would not be deterred. In fact, he was determined to get the blessing he had strived for in vain all the preceding years. All Jacob could do was hang on to the Lord, but that is all he had to do. The Lord was about to honor his sanctified determination. Likewise, all we can do and all we need to do is hang on to the Lord. Thank you, and I pray that you've enjoyed today's portion of Fresh Daily Bread. Remember, Jesus is coming back soon, and may God richly bless you today.